everybody, welcome to the weekly video. Just a little update about Pesach. We've had a wonderful Pesach so far. Lots of students at the first Seder at Ida Noyes Hall, and then additional students, graduate students at Chabad House, plus the second night, about 50, 60 students. And then yesterday we hosted dinner for students with Steve Derschlag, a Haggadah collector, that came and shared some of his beautiful Haggadas from his 4,000 Haggadah collection. Really quite something. Really been very beautiful, very inspiring to see the students come out and get into it, the singing Dayenu and all the energy that comes with Pesach. It's really inspiring. I think if you want to be anywhere for Pesach, you got to be on campus. It's where you get the energy, the spirit. It's really been wonderful. It's of course wonderful having our family home, our children with us for the holiday that are not usually here during the year. It's really quite beautiful. So that's a little fun. I want to share a little idea and a little story for Pesach. So the idea I want to share is, which inspired me from the Haggadah collection that we saw yesterday. So I have a few interesting Haggadahs. This one, which was a gift to me from the state of Bob Herman. This is from Tunisia, and it is translated both into French, and the instructions on the Hebrew side are in Judeo-Arabic. No surprise there. You can see it. I'll try to show you right up close. You could see in between the Hebrew, you see Judeo-Arabic, and there is French. This is a beautiful one. One of the things I love seeing about old Haggadahs is the wine stains. Now, of course, I don't know when these wine stains appeared on the Haggadah. Was it? They look pretty old. Like over here, you've got. This is on the page of the Pesach, of the matzah, and so on. And it tells a little of a story that this Haggadah was once in use by a family somewhere. And what were they thinking as they're sitting around the Seder table? What were their hopes? What were their worries? And it's especially poignant when we come to the passage where we say, this is what stood by us, by our ancestors and us, and every generation they wish to annihilate us, and God saves us from their hands. And you raise the cup of wine, and of course it spills, and you're holding the wine cup, and you're saying, this promise has stood by us. And it's hard to imagine what was going through the minds of these people, but somehow I feel that many times throughout history they've had the trust and faith that we will persevere, that we will get through this, that we will come out stronger in the end. And really, there's the story, the Haggadah tells is really a story of resilience, and in every generation the Haggadah is published based on that generation, based on the economic times. Like this one is a very cheap one. Of course, there are many that are very artistic and very beautiful. This is another one from Israel. I forget what year this is. This is 1949 in Israel. So that's really what I've been thinking about, is how do we feel that sense of the this promise that stood by our ancestors is what stands by us, and that we will get through hard times. And the truth of the matter is, people ask me if it's difficult on campus. Yes, of course we have anti-Israel protests and stuff like that, but I don't think it's actually very difficult. I think that our students are resilient. I think that we live in blessed times in many ways. We live in a blessed country. The Rebbe would always say that the United States is a Medina of Chesed, a country of kindness. And we're very fortunate to be living in times like these, where we're not only provided, we were supported in our quest for religious freedom. Now I want to share that story that I told you I would share. This is a story that goes back about 10 years ago. A woman named, Mrs. Stuttgart, I think her name was, in Israel, was planning to spend Pesach. She was a single mom, and she's planning to spend Pesach with her son, with family in the south of Israel. She lived in the north, and the deal was that she was going to provide all the food. So she cooks all this food for about 35 people. She loads it up in a car, and they're ready to go. And they're going. And of course, there's a lot of traffic, and it takes them quite a while. And unfortunately, as luck would have it, they got stuck halfway there. There was no way they were going to make it there in time for the Seder, and they don't drive on the holiday. And they ended up near a city called Haggadas, which is near the coast, or on the coast. Anyway, they pull over, still about 40 minutes to the holiday or less, and they see this little kid, and they say, do you know anyone here that maybe could host us for the holiday? He brings out his mom, and as they say, the mom, is it possible? It's just me and my son, maybe we could stay with you. She's like, well, let me ask my husband. They say, okay, sure, but I just want to let you know that we're vegetarian. No problem, don't worry about the food. I have a ton of food. I have food for 35 people. It's no worry about the food. So they come into the house and they bring all the food in and they put it on the stove and they're settling down, getting ready for the Seder. And the woman of the house says, you know, I got to tell you something. I just witnessed a huge miracle. It's really what happened. She says, you know, we've fallen on hard times and we have no money. We have no money for food that we told the kids we're vegetarian because I can't provide meat and chicken. And I didn't know what I was going to do for Pesach. I have no money for food for Pesach. And we decided, you know, maybe we'll go to the Chabad Seder in town. Surely they're not going to ask for money. But we really had nothing. My husband kept saying to me, don't worry, trust in Hashem, He will provide. We're going to be okay. Don't worry, we'll provide. The holiday's coming, we will have. As it gets closer and closer to the Seder, I'm like, there's nothing in the fridge. We have no food. Very little. And then you arrived. Not just with food for 35 people. Food for the entire holiday. That's a miracle. They had a beautiful Seder, and this woman helped the family get back on their feet. Thank God they're doing better. But that's a beautiful story that I just heard. I wanted to share it with you. A story of resilience, of trust in Hashem. And that's really what our people have had throughout our history. And I wish you all a good Shabbos and a wonderful Pesach.